It looks like the stock is moving, so it looks like it's out. Oh, we got it here. Now it's just the release date. Nope, there it is. Okay, net sales were 732 million. Expected was 750 million. So that's a miss. They had a Q1 operating loss. They were expected to have a profit. So that's a miss. They bought Bitcoin because they're a bunch of idiots. $500 million worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's a miss on the top and the bottom line. Let's see how the stock is responding. Yep. That's a big ol' outside bar on the 15-minute chart. The high of this 15-minute period was $31 and the low was $29.70. We closed the day, I think it was around 30 when it closed. So per the usual, GameStop people are probably going to try to discern this earnings report before they determine if they're buying or selling. No. I am on stream. So yeah, let's get a headline. GameStop GME Q1 2025 earnings results miss EPS and actually we should say profit and revenue. But don't worry, they bought Bitcoin during the quarter. That'll make things better. And that's not me judging Bitcoin. Like, if you want to invest in Bitcoin, just buy Bitcoin. Why would you buy GameStop? Okay. They're still trying to digest this news. So that's the first bit. Let's see what else we got in here. I like to look at the cash flow statement and see what's going on there. Are they considering Bitcoin part of their cash and marketable securities? No. Interesting. Wow, so they let all of their treasuries mature and they did not reinvest. So they're no longer holding any treasuries. So hardware and software revenue were both down in the quarter from a year ago. Overall sales are down from a year ago, but collectibles revenue was up. That might be worth breaking out because they've really been doing a whole push on like the Pokemon cards and their, the ratings of cards and stuff. So let's see, how much did that grow by? Over 136.8. 54% revenue growth in collectibles. That's pretty impressive. But it's not enough. So I think that's our first breakout. I'm kind of curious if they mentioned Switch 2 at all in this. Why would a video game company mention Switch 2 in their earnings result? Okay. Wait. Their non-GAAP was a profit. Is that why the stock is vacillating? Let's see what's going on here. No, the stock's taking a fat dump. Never mind. Yeah, they lost $10 million from operating, but when you add back the asset impairments and the transformation costs, they made $27 million. Hey, Lucci Dobra. You always show up for the funniest streams, man. Oh, yeah, give me a second. So, yeah, people are focusing on their... There's hair on the quarter. So it's actually a beat on the profit when you back out the other stuff. So yeah, we have to change that headline. We haven't written it yet, but yeah, it's a beat on earnings, a miss on revenue. Okay, so let me rewrite that headline. This is actually more in line with what we've been seeing from them lately. A beat on the bottom line, but a miss on the top line because their revenue isn't growing. But they're operating more efficiently. In this case, I don't know if they're necessarily operating more efficiently. They're just backing out some asset impairments that are related to the sale of their Canadian operations. So yeah, I guess if you back out the asset impairment, they were profitable in the quarter. So yeah, let me get you the actual numbers, Donovan. The numbers, what was expected was a earnings of 8 cents per share and revenue of $750 million. So here's your expected numbers. And actual retail price was like 17 cents, I think is what they said. I was trying to find that again. Non-GAAP results, here we go. 17 cents. So yeah, EPS 0.17 per share. And then actual revenue So yeah, they missed by about 18 million on the revenue. They beat by 9 cents on the earnings per share when you back out the impairment of. They sold EB Games in Canada, and they sold. I think it's called Micromania in France. So they've divested it. This is why you don't try to trade GameStop earnings. I guess you could have shorted it, but I wouldn't short it either. Just stay the hell away. You want a chart reason for why? It's inside year. It's going to just chop everybody up, both on the long and the short side. As long as it's inside of last year's range, which was freaking huge. $9.95 all the way up to $64.83. This year's range is a low of $20.73 and a high of $35.81. We're kind of smack dab in the middle right now. Looks like it might be... Nah, it's just taking an inside week and down in after hours. So it's an active sell signal below 29.23. Currently trading for 28.94. But, you know, this is a stock it's down on the year slightly. It's up on the quarter. I think it's down on the month. Down on the week. So you don't really have time frame continuity on your side. You do have most of the different time frames on your side. But yeah, this is... Yeah, I think we're pretty good. We've been... Yeah, it's all good. Okay. Let's see. What else should I be looking at? What do we normally look for in this shit? DRS. Their SEC filings. I'm pulling up the 10Q right now. They keep changing the language describing it, but I should be able to find it in here. Use of estimates. Their business priorities are one sentence. Our strategy involves 1. Using our cash and other sources of liquidity to maximize shareholder value, including through potential investment and acquisition opportunities, and optimizing our retail business to achieve profitability. Okay. That's it. That's the whole turnaround plan. Yeah. That's weird. I wasn't able to Where's the DRS number? Odella Rosa 8. I don't know if you're joking, but they haven't had a conference call for GameStop since 2021, right? So if you're expecting to hear Ryan Cohen or Keith Gill, who doesn't work at GameStop, you're probably going to be disappointed. You're just going to hear me reading a PDF file, unfortunately. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. I want to be clear with you. There is no conference call. We're not streaming a conference call here. I'm just reading the news and reacting to it. Just so you don't get your expectations up. Because, Lord, I know how GameStop shareholders love to get their expectations up. This is kind of weird. I can't seem to find the DRS number. It's in their quarterly report, their 10Q or their 10K usually. I might just be... They keep changing the name of it. Like, maybe they're referring to it with a different term or something, but I'm trying to find it. They have a segment about digital assets, but they've had that before. Here's their objectives. I found 4 sentences about their turnaround. Establish omni-channel retail excellence. Well, they must still be working on that one. We aimed... it's just buzzword salad. I guess they're saying like they want to be good at online and brick and mortar retail, which they're not really good at either. We aim to be the leading destination for games and entertainment products. Well, good luck with that. Through our stores and e-commerce platforms, like they're definitely a place to buy things. They want to achieve profitability during fiscal 2024. We continue to optimize cost structure control to align with current and anticipated future needs. We will continue to focus on cost containment as we operate with increased efficiency and expand our addressable market. We continue to explore ways to increase the size of our addressable market through new product and service offerings, including offerings of the graded collectibles category. Yeah, I really think that's the shift happening here at GameStop, is away from dependency on video game hardware and software and towards being basically ThinkGeek, which they acquired and proceeded to ruin. Expansion of these categories provides the company with margin accretive opportunities that can assist the company in achieving its profitability goals. They talk about how they exited operations in large part of Europe. So in fiscal 23, they got out of Austria, Ireland, and Switzerland. In Q4 2024, they closed down store operations in Germany. In Q4, they sold their Italian subsidiary. And then in February of this year, they announced the sale of Canada and France operations. So their big plan on being profitable is to divest, apparently. But riddle me this: how do you make money when you divest all of your stores? Duh, Donovan, you do it off of Bitcoin, dude. Come on. obviously, when you're a fucking video game retailer, you know, what do? You turn around and you buy Bitcoin. Duh. I just realized that you guys aren't even being captured here. Whatever, it's fine. It sounds like I've been talking to myself.
I was gonna say, now you sound like you're hallucinating.
I'm just talking. The voices in my head. I'm Randy Orton over here. Yeah. Sorry. Now you guys are on stream. I'm a bad streamer.
Hello.
I finally got the updated overlay though on the top.
Oh yeah, it's clean.
Moving up in the world. I don't know where. It's like holders of record. Something's up with this. I have no idea where to look for this DRS number. Interactive data. What does that mean? Financial statements. Notes to financial statements. Maybe if I just look for the shares outstanding, that would be the thing to tell me. No, that's not it. 8K from May. No. I'm going to search for the word shares. There are 38 references to this word, so that's not going to be easy. Let's see. They talk about potential dilution a lot. Okay, I found it. I fucking found it. God, that was a pain in the ass. I'm just going to copy this into our Slack. I can't find the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have the overlay. This is kind of thrown together rapidly. Okay, so I'm just pasting this in the headlines. We can figure out what the headline is here. It says there are 447.3 million shares of Class A GameStop stock, of which 379.2 million are held by Seed & Co. on the behalf of the DTCC. Approximately 85% of those shares. 68.1 million shares were held by registered holders as of June 5th. So now we do our thing where we look back at the Shacknews website and type in Shacknews DRS. It's down. It's down for another quarter. So I got a headline. So it was 69.5 million, and as of March 19th of this year, it's down to 68.1 million. So there was an outflow of 1.4 million directly registered shares between March 19th and June 5th. This is not a comment on if DRS is a good idea. This is just us stating a fact. And then I'll just drop the the link to the 10Q for you. I don't know who can get that story, but that would be one to get. Yeah, Danny, let me look for the Bitcoin now. I think it's a good question. Oh, yeah, there you go. News releases, first quarter results. I think it's kind of tricky, right? Diamond, do you remember when you reported on the Bitcoin acquisition?
Um, it was within the last like few weeks. It
So
was
here's what's going on.
May. It was
Yeah,
on May 28th.
May 28th is when we reported it, right?
Yeah, that might have been like the day after. They might have announced like the night before. I think is
So
what happened.
so here's the trickiness.
Hmm.
Their first quarter ended on May 3rd. So they claim that they bought 4,710 Bitcoins between May 3rd and June 10th of 2025. Which could be why it's
Right.
not showing up on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
Because I was confused. Like, when I saw how much cash they had, I was like, this does not add up. Because they spent the $500 million. So that's what's going on, Danny. It's not on the balance sheet as of May 3rd. I'm sure that was intentional. I need to be louder or make the Discord quieter. I'll make the Discord quieter. Diamond, can you say something?
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Is that
Let me
better?
see.
I mean, I can like eat the microphone. Is this better, Lucci? If I just do this, I'm like, hey, Lucci, can you hear me now? I'm eating the microphone.
Lazy dog.
Hello? I'm talking about GameStop here.
You do sound louder.
Yeah, because I'm literally eating the microphone. I don't know if you're on stream, but I'm like making sweet, sweet love to this microphone right now. Hey there, Lucci. Yeah.
Oh God.
No. I think Donovan's quieter now. I have silenced him.
Perhaps.
So they do mention it in their press release, but they do mention the timing of it, and I think that's why it's not showing up on the balance sheet. But we already reported on that. That's old news. Because, when you're a struggling video game retailer, the thing to do is to put $500 million in a cryptocurrency. Or, I don't know. Maybe, like, sell foam Minecraft swords. I don't fucking know. So this is just part one of the GameStop news we have coming out this week. We have the shareholder meeting on June 12th. I believe that's at 10 in the morning or 11 in the morning Eastern. It's basically the one time of the year where we will actually hear Ryan Cohen not say something that has nothing to do with GameStop. Like, he'll actually talk about the company. Maybe. Let's see. Is there anything else going on that we care about? Switch 2 launch didn't happen during this quarter, so I don't think they were recognizing revenue from Switch 2 yet, which would explain the hardware numbers. But maybe down the road, like the next quarter, we're going to start to see Switch 2 numbers. But really, I'd say the big standout in this quarter was the sale of Canada and French GameStop locations or businesses. I'd say that was the big thing that happened during this quarter that affected earnings. And when you back it out, they were a profitable company. I mean, this is a trend now, Donovan. We've seen it for multiple quarters, right? Like they're divesting things, and in doing so, they're scraping out profits.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I wouldn't say it's like innovative what they're doing, but sometimes that's all you need to just to stay alive. But the problem is, I should probably pull up the stock chart again. Let's see what it's doing. Still pooping. It's trying to find some footing here. It is still below that weekly sell signal point that I was talking about. It's below 29.23 per share right now, so you're free to short this thing all week. As long as it's below that level. Oh yeah, I just wanted to provide some color for the folks at home, because this was a company that was painted as the mother of all short squeezes, right? But here's what happens when you repeatedly dilute your shareholders. You run out of ammo for a short squeeze. There are now 447 million shares of GameStop. Of that, 49 million of them are short. So it does have like close to a 12% short interest. That's higher than it has been, but it's still like way lower than 2021. That's and I'm not factoring in options and short calls, whatever. I'm just looking at the data available to us publicly. And yeah, it's over a 10% short interest. So, I guess there are a lot of shorts out there still, but it's not the short nuclear bomb that it used to be. It's like $1 billion are held short right now. It trades at 2.7 times book, 3 times sales, 91 times trailing earnings. I don't know if it should trade at a higher PE ratio than Nvidia, but here we are. It really boils down to their cash holdings. Like, if GameStop doesn't lose money, which they didn't this quarter, they didn't last quarter, they didn't last year. If they can continue to hold on to their cash, they have there's like a floor to their stock at around $20 a share, or maybe 18 or whatever, just based on how much cash they have on hand. And then I guess people, if you want to own a company that owns Bitcoin and a bunch of crappy businesses, this would be the place to go. Or you could just buy Bitcoin. There's even ETFs and shit for that now. Yeah, the margins over at GameStop are pretty razor thin still. Let's see.
Can you give me a screenshot of the stock chart?
Sure.
Today.
Sure. Do you want the 15-minute?
That works.
I'm going to give you the 5-minute chart.
That will also work.
Handy dandy MS Paint. I dropped it in the screenshots channel for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Greg, you must not have been here when I was talking about it, but this does not include the Switch 2 launch. Switch 2 launch happened, last week? This report covers up to May 3rd. So that's a next quarter thing. Yeah. So yeah, this was May 3rd, and the Switch launched on June 5th, so GameStop didn't start recognizing revenue from those pre-orders until the next quarter. Because, yeah, this quarter, I pointed out earlier, but this quarter saw a drop in hardware sales, a continued drop in hardware sales, because we've seen that from Xbox and Sony for the past few years. Xbox more than Sony. And also Switch. Switch was 2 years of negative growth in unit sales because it was 8 years old. Let's see, where is the they have a segment reporting, yeah. Hardware was 47% of sales in the quarter. Collectibles were 28.9. Oh, Who's writing the collectibles story? Is that TJ?
So,
Yes. TJ, you could mention in the article that collectibles revenue is now a larger percent of sales than software.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy. But it also is like, yeah, what I find interesting, Dom, is like I've been following this company for like 20 years or whatever, and back before the iPhone, back in the mid 2000s, this was a company that got almost 80% of its revenue from software sales. Because, physical software was still very much a thing in the early 2000s. And then, like, the 360, the PS3 era, the Wii era, the DS era, like, that was all physical media still. And used games were still viable. It's now down to 24%. So that's pretty wild. But yeah, TJ, I would just mention that collectibles revenue is now larger than software revenue at GameStop, at least in the quarter. And that's a huge reversal from the prior year. Prior year, it was 27% software, 15% collectibles. So what they're doing with the whole grading of the cards and selling Pokemon cards, that's working. And I think it's the right move because you need to have a physical location for that stuff.
also the most accessible for like 90% of people because not everyone lives near a card shop
or like an auction house or whatever. Yeah, like not everyone lives close to a place where you can get your cards graded like that. So I think that is one of the smart things they've done is this pivot to Pokemon cards and card grading in general. But yeah, I don't know. When they're spending $500 million on Bitcoin and they only had revenue of 732 million in the quarter, it just makes me wonder, like, what exactly is your business model going forward? Are you really a retailer or are you just a holding company that buys assets? You know?
right.
We'll have to
As
see.
long as they're selling stuff.
I think it's not just as long as they're selling stuff, the dime is as long as they're selling stuff at a profit, right? Because like you can sell all the software you want, but if you're not making any money, what's the point? Especially used software. And the inventory management required for their used software business, I don't know. I think leaning into retro collectible stuff makes sense, but also like in this age of the Mario movie and the Minecraft movie and stuff, like keep leaning into collectibles for those movies too, or shirts or whatever. uh I think the more that they embrace like geek and nerd culture, the better off they'll be. But yeah, I don't really see a whole lot else here. Any questions from the chat? Anyone want to say I'm a paid shill from mainstream media because I didn't have nice things to say about Ryan Cohen?
I'm just curious how big you think that Switch 2 will be for them next quarter. I mean, they were one of like the prime retailers.
Um,
I think is everybody in line. Like how much I guess you think it moves the needle for them?
it's not insignificant, but we're talking about a 10-year trend here where hardware has really been in a downtrend for them. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have like a little bump. I actually kind of I think looking at the last quarter would be helpful to kind of inform that. So let's go look at um I guess that would be 2024 Q2. So yeah, we would want to look at their segment breakdown there. That's interesting though, because they had $451 million of revenue from hardware in the second quarter of 2024. And what do they have this year? 345. So do I think it's $150 million of revenue? I don't know, man. How many did they really have? Like, how many units do you think they averaged per store? Maybe 100?
Maybe, yeah, some in that neighborhood, I guess.
So it's just back of the envelope, right? I'm not saying this is the definitive answer to your question, but let's just say they're making about $45,000 off of each store from the Switch. And how many stores do they have open right now? Stores. I don't think they disclosed it here. I can find like a little less. It may not be as up to date, but it'll be a good estimate at least for us. How many? I thought there was like somewhere around 4,000 GameStops. How many GameStops are there? So it's like somewhere around 3,000 stores in the United States. So let's just say that they all sold 100 units. That's $13.5 million, Donovan. That's not enough to make up that drop that I'm talking about. So, but it's also like, there's not just, that's just the systems, right? Like, if people were buying Mario Kart Physical, that's 80, right? If people were buying, I don't know, Street Fighter 6 Switch 2 edition, right? That's like 60, I think. But that's going to flow to their software line. I don't know. I guess it's, if they sold more than 100 per store, like maybe. The other problem is, like, that's not what makes them money. Like, profit. They don't really make a whole lot of profit off selling hardware. So I don't know. It's a good question. We'll have to tune in 90 days, Donovan, and I'll let you know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really in much of the prediction game. You definitely got people begging Ryan Cohen to merge with their other shit companies. A lot of really stable conversation about this being had on Twitter. The Everything app.
Of course. Yep. Can't forget that.
So if you look at the cash holdings they reported and you factor in the $500 million of Bitcoin that they bought, they have about $5.9 billion of cash on hand. So there's that. Yeah, I think that's it though. No one else has any questions in the chat. Let's just take a look at the stock chart again to give people a frame of reference for where we are. Hit a high of 31 right as the numbers came out. It basically immediately turned around and has sold off about $2, $3 since then. Sitting here at 28.84 in after hours. Like I mentioned before, you do have an active inside week and down sell signal below $29.23 per share. We are currently below that in after hours. If you stay below that tomorrow into the end of the week, that would be a sell signal, which means anyone who bought call options thinking that GameStop would go to the moon on a random Q1 earnings report before the Switch is even in the results, you're probably going to lose your money. So don't trade options on GameStop earnings. Like that's all I can say. It's a dangerous game. It's gambling, and you could have just bought shares, and like if you bought like I don't know $1,000 worth of call options, and the stock, like let's say you bought the 31 call, and the stock's not going to be at 31 or even it'll be lower than that by Friday. You're going to lose 100% of your call options. If you bought the shares, yeah, it's down like 5%. That's not the end of the world. So yeah, just a lot of I don't want to use the term amateur because I think there's a connotation that a lot of novice investors have flooded into this stock specifically, and they all saw how Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, made a fortune trading options on this stock. That was in 2020 and 2021, and actually in 2024 for a hot second. But he's a professional. He knew what he was doing. He took calculated risks. At this point, I just think people are trying to chase that dream. And there's no evidence that Keith Gill even owns GameStop shares anymore. There's no evidence that he doesn't, but there's no evidence that he does. And there is evidence that he bought Chewy, like a 9.5% stake in Chewy, the week after the last GameStop shareholder meeting last year. Because there are all these rumors about what was going to happen at the GameStop shareholder meeting, and nothing came to fruition. And the week before, Ryan Cohen diluted shareholders. The day that Keith Gill was became a billionaire for a hot second. Ryan Cohen diluted all shareholders. So I don't know if you were Keith and you were a billionaire and Ryan Cohen fucked you, would you want to stay long the stock?
I don't think I would, no.
That's just logic. That's just logic. It's not. It's not some like I'm not making a statement about Ryan Cohen or even Keith. I'm just saying like that guy was very vocal about reporting his stakes, right? Like he was like doing the YOLO report and all that stuff, and then he just stopped.
Yeah.
Like, and you can even go back and you can just go back and look at his last few tweets. I think they kind of. I know you have to like decipher his tweets because he's not going to go out of his way to tell you what he's thinking, right?
A lot of movie clips and memes.
Yeah, so he has so June 17th of last year, he posts a picture of John McEnroe wearing a photoshopped Keith Gill headband.
Yeah.
And that if you watch that clip like on YouTube, I don't know, do you know much John McEnroe lore or anything about him, Donovan?
I do not know.
He frequently would argue with the umpires, the refs, and his like go-to phrase was, "You can't be serious." He would just yell it like a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you watch the video that this picture is taken from, that's what he is saying in that video. And then, later that day, he posted this, which I think you said this is from some movie. I can't remember what movie this is from, Dom, and you told me when it happened. If you take a look at the stream.
You sending it?
No, it's just in it's on Twitch.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll pull up the stream. TV/Shacknews. Yeah, I know he used to do a bunch of clips. Oh, this is from I believe that's Encanto, which is the Disney animated movie. I think that's Bruno. He had the song "We Don't Talk About Bruno," so I don't know what he's saying there, but
yeah, who knows what he's saying there? But that's the last thing he said, and then 10 days later, there's the dog, and he bought Chewy that week. So
yeah,
I don't know. Those 3 tweets back to back kind of lead me to think he exited GameStop and he put all that money in Chewy. Now, why do I say he's probably in Chewy? Well, he publicly disclosed it. because he was required to because he owns 9.5%. But also, folks at home might know that Chewy was founded. Chewy was founded by Ryan Cohen.
Wait, so is there like a cutoff? What's the line of how much you have to own before you publicly disclose it?
I think it's 5%.
Okay.
I think it's. I'd have to look. Because he's an individual.
It'll be an in and out. And it'll be done.
I think it's 5% of a publicly traded company. But there's also filing requirements for certain size of investments. So, yeah. Keith never got to more than 5% of GameStop because he kept getting diluted. We all got diluted. Also, he was a guy. He started with $50,000 and he had up to $1 billion at one point. But yeah, like he. And if you go look at Chewy's stock, like let's look at the last year in Chewy. Not a bad investment, to be honest with you. Like you go back and you're like, okay, so he bought it in June of 2024. Probably somewhere in the low 30s, and it's at 46 right now. And you look at GameStop in that same time period, GameStop has basically done nothing. It's been at 29 for almost an entire year. So I would take the 20 to 30% gain in Chewy over GameStop. Well, I have everyone here. I just want to point out that Nintendo kicked the crap out of GameStop in relative performance as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Also up on the year, 42.79%. That's a good-looking chart. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you got to own GameStop for the Nintendo Switch. It's like, no. You know how like people back in fantasy football, Diamond, they would like draft, I don't know, some like Joe Horn or some like wide receiver on the Saints. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna have.
Right, yeah, you get like the teammate or like the guy who passes to where it gets,
Instead of just drafting Drew Brees, like just draft Drew Brees. You know, like don't try to like, or with Aaron Rodgers, like people, I'm gonna get Alan Lazard. Like don't draft Alan Lazard, just draft Rodgers if you really want to. It's like if you want to play the Nintendo Switch 2 trend, just buy Nintendo. Is my point. This idea that and it's just funny. Like, two catalysts for GameStop right now. One is that they own Bitcoin now, and one is that they sell Switch 2. It's like, I'd rather own Nintendo for Nintendo Switch 2 trend, and yeah, just go buy Bitcoin. Why do you want to own this crappy retailer? Like, I don't even like Bitcoin. I accidentally own like a fourth of a Bitcoin or something from I don't know, Voyager, but I think that wallet got compromised. Like, I don't think I even have it. Or maybe not even a fourth of a Bitcoin. It's like 0.025 Bitcoin, whatever the hell that is, 2.5% of a Bitcoin. But yeah, like, just buy Bitcoin. Why buy GameStop? You have to deal with all the other bullshit they're doing. Like, unless you like really like this collectibles pivot, but it's been going on for years, and it has not hit escape velocity. Do I think they can replace all of the hardware revenue and all of the software revenue with collectibles? No. But it's possible that they're more profitable in this new collectibles model that they're using. So, yeah, that's going to do it, I think, right? I don't want to sit here and talk about GameStop any more than I have to. But yeah, the stock is down after hours. It's down on the year. Like I said, you have a weekly sell signal right now. See where it goes tomorrow. You know, if you're super bold up on this, like, yeah, I guess if you want to look at the bullish side of this report, you know, they did beat on earnings again. largely due to cost cutting again. And I bring up again, eventually you run out of costs to cut. How's Nintendo doing after launch? I mean, this is a separate question about a different company, but I'll talk about it since it's interesting to me. It's trading inside weak right now, Lucci, which means that they're trying to find equilibrium. I think the catalyst for this stock to break out or down will be when they announce their launch numbers. We're starting to see some, like, I wouldn't say leaks, but like different retail organizations are starting to state, like, hey, here's how much it's sold in Spain. Here's how much it's sold in France. Too. It's like double the next best-selling launch console of all time, Donovan, in both of those cases. So,
yeah.
And I've been talking about it in our Slack with the staff and on Discord too. But like, I'm just waiting for Nintendo to put out that press release. Hey, we've sold XYZ amount of Switch 2. There's definitely not a shortage. No. It's even available in Russia. Yeah, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of a shortage of the Switch 2. I think they actually made a decent amount of supply. It is sold out in America. You can't find it anymore here. So that initial wave that they hit with, it's kind of gone. And then even worse, Lucci, I'd say harder to find. Like, I don't know if you've run into this at all, Diamond, but the accessories, good luck finding.
I just got my Pro Controller just came in today, a couple hours ago.
Like, the one, I feel like an idiot because I should have known I was going to need it. But you know the all-in-one carrying case? Like, I can't find.
I should have got that too.
I can't find that anywhere. It's like gone.
I also regretted not getting that.
It's being scalped for like 200% markup. I'm like, But
oh, brother.
That's ridiculous.
It's so stupid, dude, for a carrying case. But like, yeah, that's the one thing I regret not buying at launch, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But
especially you, because you go between the studio and home.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm gonna be doing those Mario Kart streams from the office with David, and it's like I need to have like a proper carrying case. But yeah, like it's other than that, like I'm not traveling a whole lot, so I don't need like that. You know, there's like two different cases. There's like the clamshell one that's just for the Switch handheld, and then there's that all-in-one, which is like a cube-shaped one. Yeah. I might get like a third-party one, but yeah, that's the one thing where I'm like, I kind of regret not buying it. But yeah, like the Pro controllers are largely sold out here in America. Yeah, it's weird. The camera, I think, is sold out. I haven't seen anywhere that has the camera for sale. The GameCube controller is sold out. Yeah, I don't know. My read, Lucci, on Nintendo is that they're doing rather well. Like, I think they're doing. Yeah. Hopefully, man. I don't like to make statements about months into the future because Orange Idiot could do anything between now and then. As I've said before on Game Trader Live, like, he is volatility incarnate. So, if he decides to ramp up saber rattling with China again, or these talks that are going on fall away, or I don't know. This parade on Saturday is more than it appears to be. There's all sorts of reasons to be concerned about global supply of Nintendo Switch, but you know, in the meantime, I got mine, so I'm happy. I think everyone on Shacknews staff has a Switch too. So to your point, yeah, it wasn't
successful console launch for us.
Yeah, we did well at finding ours, but yeah, it's, you know, it's also, it's rather expensive. $450 is not something that people are going to just instantly want to throw at something, especially when it's only got, like, you know, one first-party title really at launch that's, you know, it's cool, but Mario Kart's not for everyone. It's really not. So, I think as we go into the fall and Nintendo starts to show off more games, like we just saw a Splatoon, was it called Raiders?
Splatoon Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, like that just got announced. I think as we keep seeing stuff like that, there's going to be increased demand.
The first new game that they announced on Nintendo today at.
Mm-hmm.
I could be mistaken, but I think that was the first time they've done that.
Yes. So yeah, like I think there's there's reason to be bullish on Nintendo, man. I'll just say that. We got the Mario movie coming out. You know there's a 3D Mario game coming at some point. Donkey Kong Bonanza launches next month. There's Drag X Drive, obviously, later this summer. And Pokemon ZA is, what, the fall? October. We're still waiting on the Metroid Prime 4 release date. And you got Hyrule Warriors, Imprisoning War. So I think this year's lineup is kind of set. And, they'll get through this initial wave of people upgrading, and they'll have to get ready for the holiday then. But, yeah, I think Nintendo has set expectations pretty low, and I think they're beating those expectations already. I'm waiting for them to just announce, I want to hear the global number of unit sales for Switch 2 in like a week or something. But, there's some superlative that they're going after right now, is my guess, Dom and TJ. There's some sort of best-selling console launch week of all time, or best, you know what I mean? So, maybe we'll hear some data on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
If we don't hear anything by Friday, I think they might not say anything till earnings, which is weird.
I'd agree with that.
I kind of hope they say something, though. This is it's PR 101, man. Big number. Tout the big number. And they care about that stuff, especially if they set a record in Japan for a launch console. I think that would mean a lot to them. So I'm waiting to see exactly what they're going to say, because it's interesting we haven't heard. Because sometimes you hear about, the first 3 days were better than any other, So I'm just wondering how they're going to frame this. But yeah. All indications over here is it's selling very well.
Sure seems like it.
But they did delay the Zelda movie, so, pre-order canceled. That's it. Thanks for watching. This was just a special... I do this for GameStop earnings, basically, because they don't have a conference call, because their CEO is the least transparent person on the planet. Kind of a scumbag. But yeah, that'll do it. Pretty decent quarter out of GameStop. There's a revenue miss, an earnings beat when you back out the impairment charges from the sales of EB Games Canada and whatever the hell they call GameStop in France, or whatever they used to call it in France. So yeah, that's going to do it. Steve's going to be back online here in a few hours playing something. Is he playing card again? Wind Waker? Ooh.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to watch Steve play some Wind Waker later, he'll be doing that here on this stream. I'll be back with another finance stream on June 30th, which is a Monday. That's going to be fun. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Manage your risk. Hopefully you didn't buy call options in GameStop heading into earnings, because that's just a dumb idea. And yeah, inside week and down sell signal below 29.23 per share. See you later, everyone.